How many bridges do you go over each day? You ever thought about that? How many of them? I don't know the answer to that because I don't think about it. I just drive. And I go over bridges all the time, right? Why do we not think about it? Because when we look at the bridge, we expect the bridge to act in exactly the way we expect it to act. How we expect it to act? We expect it to not fall, right? We expect it to not fall. That's integrity. That when we look at something and we expect it to act a certain way, it does. Integrity is not the same thing as character, because somebody who is a bank robber could have more integrity than a pastor. How is that? Well, a bank robber, if what they say is I'm a bank robber and that's what I do, I rob banks and I run away from the cops and that's what I do. They are acting in integrity. They may not have character, but they're acting in integrity. A pastor who acts one way up on stage and with his congregation, but then lies and cheats and steals behind everybody's back. He doesn't have character or integrity. David is looking around at the people around him. And it looks like people are getting away with a lack of integrity. They just aren't who they say they are. And it's frustrating to him. And it's really easy to fall into that with statements like, well, everybody's doing it. And if I just fudge right here, nobody will ever know. How do we keep up our integrity? Here's a couple of things that David said. Lord, I love the house where you dwell, the place where your glory resides. First and foremost, we walk into God's presence. We have to desire God's presence more than whatever we get out of not having the integrity. So when we act one way, or we say we are one thing, and then we act another way, there is something we are getting, or we think we're getting out of this integrity gap. And so we've got to like God's presence more than whatever we think we are getting. See, when it talks about his house and his temple, God's house and God's temple, it is talking not about the building, but about God's presence. See, we can read that and go, okay, all right, I love to go to church. I love to go to worship, and blah, blah, blah. But we can show up and go to church and go to worship and not have integrity. But it's really hard to walk into God's presence and not have integrity, right? Here's another thing that helps us walk through this. For your faithful love is before my eyes, and I live by your truth. That we love God's faithful love more than whatever we are trying to gain out of not having integrity or having this integrity gap. That we love God's presence and that we love God's love more than whatever we would get out of this integrity gap. And in the end, David places his trust on God. I live with integrity. Redeem me and be gracious to me. Look, I am going to make the decision to live in integrity no matter what everybody else is doing. I will make this choice. The everyday prayer is this: Lord, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. Let me walk in integrity. Let that be my life. Let me be who I say I am and then act that same way. And let your love and your presence be my driving force for this type of life.